Hello, my weirdos. Happy Saturday night. How's everybody going? It's me, the mayor, and my trusty sidekick, the Wolfman.
How? What's
And
happening?
there's only two of us here today.
Our meat is gone. She's in the
Our
chat.
mate's gone. She's got some family stuff going on. She is in the chat right now. So she's
It's
got
not
to
going
go
to be the
see.
same. It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, not gonna be the same. Right now we are a wish sandwich, and you know what a wish sandwich is? That's where you got two slices of bread and wish you had some meat.
That and all this beauty just doesn't quite cut it.
Yeah, for sure. Old gray-haired guy and another one with no damn teeth.
At least you still got some color.
Yeah, I'm having a little lighting issues for some reason tonight. I'm trying to change things around and make it look a little better, and so there's no hope for me. But
Hey, hello, Wahoo! I seen you in the other chat just earlier over on John's chat, and I couldn't tell if you saw my message to you or not. Hi, Oki, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? Hope everything's going good. Give hugs from all of us here.
Hi, Bev. Hi, Lisa. Hey, BK. Wahoo. Beverly.
Chuck rants about everything. I like that one. He says, yep, evening, Mayor.
Chuck does. He's a ranter. Oh, who else we got there?
A fellow ranter. I can respect that. Billy Buzz, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
You rock, dude. Vicky's out there lurking as normal.
John Lindy's in here, or was in here. Probably lurking in the corner.
I hope everybody's having a good day. Been busy. I had to work until 7 o'clock, so we'll rush home and get ready for this. And we had a lot of fun at work. We got one guy that's going out for 6 months for shoulder surgery, another one that's quitting. So who knows what's going to happen? That leaves from 5 guys covering maintenance for 3 shifts down to 3 people covering everything. So it's going to be hell at work. This is my only salvation is being here with my family.
You said 5 guys, and I started getting hungry for French fries.
I know. I haven't been to 5 guys in a while, and I almost stopped today. I might.
Oh, man.
I might. Now that you said that, I might pop in for a burger after this.
It might have been your sign.
Yeah. Here's your sign.
Here's your sign.
Yeah.
So what's on the agenda tonight there?
What's that?
What's on the agenda for tonight?
Well, what's on the agenda tonight is part 2 of the Jeffrey Dahmer trial. I actually played them out of order. I forgot because of this tight trial and all that. Defense is supposed to go first, then prosecution, because it's up to the defense to show all the evidence and everything. They're trying to get him having a saying that he was insane, which he was insane, but that he was not guilty by reason of insanity.
So the one we watched the first time was the
prosecution opening statements, where they laid out the entire timeline about all the victims and everything else, and did a fantastic job. Hey,
really
Bill.
Really thorough.
Hey, Adam. Now, tonight, with the defense one, I pre-watched that one. Plus, I watched it 34 years ago.
I haven't, so it's my first time.
The defense lawyer one, I think, sucked. Yeah, I think he did a pretty bad opening statement. And luckily, it's not as long as the prosecution opening statement. But we're going to be watching him, and he's like, get ready to take a nap. No excitement whatsoever.
Hey, please, Clark. And Mr. McCann, O'Mara, White, Miller. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, We now.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't remember the name of him, but I have met this defense attorney. Actually, he had come to the restaurant that I was a chef at, and as boring and cold as he is in the opening sequence here, he was even worse at the restaurant. He's like had a. The best way to put it is like he was there, but he didn't want to be there kind of attitude.
Jerry Boyle.
That's it. Jerry Boyle.
Begin an odyssey, the results of which in a short period of time will result in a decision to be made by you and you alone as to whether or not Jeffrey Dahmer did, at the time he committed these horrific murders to which he has pled guilty, whether or not he was suffering from a mental disease, the result of which that he lacked substantial capacity.
What the heck is going on here?
Are you switching videos on us?
For some reason, I think I'm having Wi-Fi issues.
It's leaving room for
Hi, Mama.
To either appreciate the wrongfulness of his.
What was that?
so it's leaving room for commentary.
Yeah, that's for sure. I had to put the kids to bed. No problem, Mama. I'm just glad you're here.
Gordon Ramsay would eat him up. Yeah. Yes. He might eat Gordon Ramsay up.
He was done with journey from previous case. Where we go here?
Sorry, I'm late. Had to put the kids to bed. Hi, Mayor. I love my love and Wolfman. Miracle Mama.
Okay, let's see him.
Well, hello to you.
Conduct, or to conform his conduct to the requirements of law. It is very difficult for an advocate not to be an advocate, not to argue, not to try and convince at all stages. I cannot attempt to convince you of anything now. The time for that to happen will come in what's called closing argument, when I will say in closing argument that as it relates to some, one, or all of these offenses, that I have proved to a reasonable certainty by the greater weight of the credible evidence that Mr. Dahmer was not responsible because of this mental disease and the legal definition of insanity as I've said it. Now, I know from having been with you folks for the last 3 days that we have a jury here that is fresh, that has no opinion and is going to listen to the evidence. But it's very difficult for you to understand what the rest of us understand because we've been working on this case for so many months. And we are here trying to tell you things for not any other reason than to hopefully make you understand as this is progressing down the road of evidence as to what is happening in this courtroom so you can say, good, I understand it. If I were try to explain to you the game of football, in order for you who have just come in from some place that never saw the game played, it might take me hours, if not weeks, for you to understand all the nuances. What I'm doing here in a very, very brief period of time is trying to lay out for you what I say I have accepted to be my burden, and that is my burden. And I understand that. So in that regard, what I want to do is to tell you to completely disregard that long list of witnesses that I read to you. Because now that we're at this point in time, certain decisions had to be made. by myself with the advice and counsel of the people who are assisting me as to how this case should proceed. And it really hasn't varied for a long period of time, but we had to name a lot of witnesses because at the last moment, if something became important and we hadn't put that witness's name down, we might be foreclosed. And that's why both Mr. McCann and I have done what we've done. And I would like to tell you how this case is going to proceed before I get into some of the other details. I anticipate and I know that the judge is going to give you some general idea as to what Mr. Dahmer pled guilty to, the 15 counts. You see, there were 17 homicides, but 15 charged. The evidence is going to show that the first homicide took place in a place called Bath, Ohio in the year 1978.
As you see there, Wolfman just put up a poll. Let's see, February 20th is known in the U.S. as National Pancake Day, National Public Sleeping Day, National Chocolate Souffle Day, or National Retro Day? That's a darn good question. We'll find out a little bit later.
Yep.
That the second homicide took place in Milwaukee. But because of the nature of the homicide, it was not a charged homicide, but it's going to be discussed. It's going to be discussed. Everything's going to be discussed, but that certainly is going to be discussed. The rest of the homicides that took place in Milwaukee County. You will be made known about every aspect of it. And the person that's going to speak to you about every aspect of it is Jeffrey Dahmer. But he is going to speak to you through the members of the Milwaukee Police Department, the first of whom I'm going to summon as my very first witness. And that is the detective and or detectives, depending upon how they want to split up the testimony, who are going to read a very, very, very long confession to you. And this confession is going to have details that will cause you to be uncomfortable, but I'm sure that you will listen to the words for the purposes that you must know all of this information.
He's not kidding when he says that you're going to read some details that are uncomfortable. It was definitely interesting. Jeffrey Dahmer gave a very, very detailed confession to everything, which we'll be hearing in the upcoming weeks.
Because subsequent to this confession, Jeffrey Dahmer talked to a lot of other people. He talked to a whole bevy of psychiatrists and psychologists and others. And the reason he did that was because every citizen in this country has an absolute right to have it investigated as to whether or not when they did any act, that they were of sound mind. And I'm going to use these phrases, sanity, with the clear-cut understanding, as Mr. McCann brought to your attention, and as I have brought to your attention, that the legal definition for the purposes of the criminal justice system of insanity is the one I have just told you, as the one I'm confident Mr. McCann will remind you of, and as the judge will instruct you. So if I use the word sane or insane, if I use the word kooky, crazy, all those words are being used to portray a state of mind. And I submit to you that the testimony that the doctors will bring to your attention, all the doctors, will give to you a very sound, deep basis for you making the ultimate decision. I am going to call into this courtroom 3 doctors, 2 psychiatrists and 1 psychologist. Dr. Berlin of Johns Hopkins University, a PhD in psychology and a doctor of medicine with a specialty in psychiatry, is going to testify in this case. I'm going to bring into this courtroom a Dr. Carol Wallstrom, a psychiatrist, a doctor of medicine, who's at...
Both sides brought in some heavy hitters of psychologists on this thing. And we saw how that ended up. Yeah, they were some, all the psychologists, psychiatrists that were brought in on this thing were like the best of the field across the whole country.
Rush Presbyterian Hospital in the field of psychiatry.
Sherry, you are right. Even outside of court, this guy is a slug.
Who's going to testify as to his opinion. I'm going to bring into this courtroom a doctor by the name of Judith Becker, a doctor of psychology who is from the University of Arizona in Tucson, who is going to come in and testify as to her opinion, as to Jeffrey Dahmer's mental state at the time that he committed these offenses. But they are not the decision makers. You are going to be the decision makers. And for you to make those decisions, I must, and I am duty bound to bring to your attention every single aspect of Mr. Dahmer's life, of Mr. Dahmer's conduct, so that you, when you make your decision, will be able to say, I had the facts needed for me to make the decision, whatever it may be. I know, because under the system of laws, we are forced to trade information with the other side, that Mr. McCann is likewise going to field in this courtroom super professionals who are likewise going to give their opinions. And the court will likewise have an expert that will testify in this court. So you're going to be equipped when it's all over with everything you need to know to make your decision. And the purpose of this court proceeding is a search for the truth.
Your Honor, it is over now. This has never been a case.
What the heck?
Maybe he ate the internet.
And the court will likewise have an expert that will testify in this court. So you're going to be equipped when it's all over with everything you need to know to make your decision. And the purpose of this court proceeding is a search for the truth. And in that regard, we must not keep anything from you you're entitled to hear. We obviously make tactical decisions so that you may make the proper decision. On the night of Mr. Dahmer's arrest, a man by the name of Tracy Edwards was present with Mr. Dahmer. The evidence is going to show that he was about to be the next victim. Through fate, he did not become a victim. And the saga of Mr. Dahmer ended at time, and in fact began at that time. It was subsequent to his arrest, very shortly thereafter, as the police will tell you, as Detective Murphy or Detective Kennedy will tell you, that Mr. Dahmer confessed to all, to everything. As best he could, under the constraints that he was placed in, he gave a full and complete statement to the Milwaukee Police Department, to the officers from Bath, Ohio, to the officers from the West Dallas Police Department, because in fact, acts took place in West Dallas and one act took place in Bath, Ohio. And you're going to hear every bit of that. And I want to say unequivocally a number of things that I think the evidence is going to show. This was not racial. The evidence is going to show, after you hear the testimony of Mr. Dahmer as told to the Milwaukee Police Department, and as told to the doctors, Dr. Becker, Dr. Wallstrom, and Dr. Berlin, that Mr. Dahmer's obsession was to body form, not color. It is also a fact, as you know, that there was a lot of homosexual tendencies here, and the obsessiveness of Mr. Dahmer was clearly in the vein of fulfilling his sexual desires, which happen to be of a homosexual nature. This is not a case about homosexuality. So in that regard, I would like to give you some ideas as to what I think I'm supposed to be doing up here today. First of all, I am your servant, and I will be for as long as it takes to try this case. I'm an advocate of my client's cause. I'm an officer of the court, but I'm a servant of the jury to bring to your attention that which you need. So when it's all over with, you say, he did his job for me, and I appreciate that. I am not going to argue here. I have the greatest of respect for the people who are sitting in the position of the state of Wisconsin. Co-worker with Mr. McCann at one time in my life, a man of enormous, wonderful reputation, as is his staff. This is not going to be a combat show. This isn't you see, the case is over. Mr. Dahmer has pled guilty to these 15 homicides. The case continues because under the law, as I have said, we are trying to find out the mind of this man. Was he evil or was he sick? And I use that in a very shortened phrase.
I know where the mind of a bunch of his victims are, in jars. Did I say that out loud?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Does he meet the definition of insanity as the law will be defined to you for one, some, or all of these? I am going to tell you basically what you can expect to learn from the witnesses about Jeffrey Dahmer. That he is 31 years of age. He was born in Milwaukee, and his early life was very unremarkable, as the doctors will tell you, moving from this place to that place as his family moved. Then when he was 5 years of age, he had a brother who was born into the family. Dr. Becker is going to start indicating certain facts that she is going to use to support her opinion, not absolutely, but matters of interest. And I don't think it's my job to stand here today and tell you every single fact that these doctors are going to testify to. But I think it necessary for me to give you a general understanding of Jeffrey Dahmer and his life and his actions and his conduct to assist you that when these doctors are testifying, there would be a better flow in their testimony because you have some idea of how the game has been laid out to be played in this courtroom. And I don't mean game in the sense that this is not the most important matter that all of us will ever probably be confronted with in our entire lives. But we have to lay out the plan so as to help you. When Jeffrey Dahmer was in 8th grade, he started in doing some things of a sexual nature that were really the embryo of as what the doctors will testify. Remember, I'm saying, when I don't say the doctors will testify, as a given, these are things I learned from the doctors that the doctors are going to testify to, not what I'm going to testify to, that the police department has brought to everyone's attention through the confession of Mr. Dahmer and statements Mr. Dahmer has made. We're going to find that when Mr. Dahmer was in 8th grade, he started into a series of sexual movements, and they took on the form of two things. He started masturbating on a daily basis, and the object of his fantasies while engaged in that self-abuse or self-conduct, or whatever it's called, as the doctors will tell you, were thoughts concerning young men of his age, young boys of his age. You will find.
Why, Lisa? It's very simple. This guy has the personality of drywall. He has actually ate at the restaurant I used to work at, and the guy is, in real life, is just as cold and just as boring as you can imagine. And he enunciates everything like he's speaking to somebody whose English is not his first language.
In the testimony, and I don't want to say the testimonial show, except that's what I'm talking about, the testimonial show, that even as an early teenager, he started becoming interested in bones of dead animals. He would take them home, he would bleach them, he would study them. None of this was discovered by any members of his family. None of the interests that he had were known to his family. The doctors are going to testify that basically his early years were unremarkable, no greatly different than most, but a few things different that they will tell you what you might consider the importance of that to be. It was when he was 14 years of age, as he has told the parties, and I'm confident at this juncture when Detective Murphy and Detective Kennedy testify, you will get some understanding and you'll be able to judge the credibility of Jeffrey Dahmer in his dealings with all the parties concerned. But it was when he was about 14 years of age, he first came up with the idea of using a corpse for sexual purposes. He fantasized either having a corpse or a mannequin to use, and it was at that time that he had his first actual consensual homosexual encounter with a peer. He discovered his homosexuality and accepted it. He will tell you through the doctors he didn't understand it, but it caused him no concern other than the fact that he realized what he was. It was while he was in high school that this fantasy of his, doing things with dead things, started showing up when in a biology class he dissected a baby pig and took the head home with him, took the skin off and kept the skull. Three doctors are going to come into this courtroom and they're going to tell you that their opinion is that Jeffrey Dahmer suffers from a mental disorder, and it is called paraphilia. Without my trying to be a doctor and defining it for you, except generally, paraphilia is an arousal of a sexual nature to an inanimate object, a body part, or a process.
It's a good thing he said.
There's all kinds of paraphilias.
It's a good thing he said body parts,
because
it's a good thing he said body parts, because inanimate objects could just be an endless supply of whatever you could think of.
Oh yeah, my stuffed animal and this crack pot.
Man, I got the screwdriver in the garage. Oh shoot, man.
Pillows. Pillows.
What's the most weirdest inanimate object that you can safely in this chat say that could be somebody's fetish for a kink like that? That's something weird and off the wall that won't get us banned.
Well, a show that used to be on my it was my strange addictions. A guy that had something to do with mud. Mud was arousal to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John, I'm talking about the chalk sticks. You light those bad boys, blow them out, chew it, tastes like a burnt marshmallow. You ever did that? The candy cigarettes I used to have.
Yes, I remember those with red end on the end there.
Yeah, if you light it, it tastes blow it out, of course, but it tastes like a burnt marshmallow. It was
had mint flavor to them too.
A very faint peppermint, yeah, very faint.
I still see those around here at several different stores.
I do too. They still have the box that says Kings. They still have the red one. I can't remember what it says on it.
Eileen,
I'm gonna have to look it up.
There's this old country store that's just east of here a ways, and they got all kinds of the old candies from growing up, that like fizzies and stuff like that you don't see anywhere. They got all these old classic things, including
man.
all the different candy cigarettes and stuff.
What about the candy on the paper, the dots, the ones where you ate the paper
those
too?
things.
You know,
Yeah, you always got the paper with it too. I love those things still to this day. I see them a lot of places around here.
You used to get them by the roll, like they would roll them out, and now it's like you get the strip.
Yep, yeah, you buy them by the foot years ago.
Yep, I remember that. That was pretty cool.
Well, and the original Willy Wonka, in fact, when they're in the candy store and they're singing and all that, and the guy had the big rack back there that had all those things on it, and you're pulling them all out. And
that was my dream when I was young, watching Willy Wonka. You know what I mean? Like,
be there.
I was like, oh, what I would do in a chocolate river, you know, like until I saw the kid get sucked up, and I was like, yep, that's me.
Augustus, get out of there! You don't know where it's been.
Oh man, that was a dream. So, do we have any weird things in the chat? Anybody said? I missed it.
Let's see, Candy Dotted Pep. Let's see. There's also a guy who loved his car. Oh yes, I forgot all, but the guy who loved his car, and I mean loved his car.
Really?
Yeah, that's something I ought to do. I ought to see if I can find some old episodes of My Weird Addiction. And
there's a guy. Was it a red car?
I don't remember it.
I recently saw something about a guy who had a red car, and it was like a 90s Corsa car or something, and he married it, I think is what he did. I don't understand how you can get a car to say I do, but somehow he married it. I don't know. Nabel says, Wolfman. Hello, Nabel.
There's a lady who also loved and married Ferris wheel.
Oh, I bet that relationship had its ups and downs.
Oh yes, it was always going in circles. Dizzying type. Let's see. He named it Chase. My wife bought me candy cigarettes. I wrote Necco Wafers, which is New England Confectionery Company, is out of business. Actually, that's down the road from here, and they one day just locked the doors a year or so ago.
Is that the ones that used to make it?
Yep.
No way. You can't get them no more?
I think some other company bought that part of the company out that's still making them, but Necco itself, which is New England Confectionery Company, who invented them, is they're huge plant, just more or less locked up and said everybody's gone.
Oh yeah, candyfavorites.com, not sponsored or endorsed, but yeah, you can get them right. They go to candyfavorites.com. You can buy a whole box of 24 for $13.39. I wonder if that's in the US. It says been doing it since 1927. I have to order me some. I'm on this diet now, so I don't know. I might have to splurge. Oh, they got the candy cigarette bubble gums too. $28 for a looks like a box of 24. a box of 24 boxes. Heck yeah. All right. Anyways. Little Red
to the cannibal.
Little Red Corvette, Billy says. Necco wafers are nasty.
I was never a fan of them. What was the other one?
John. You F that car right up the tailpipe.
Yeah. Who Tried to Be a Lamp was on that show. Bazooka Bubblegum used to be the shit too. And they used to advertise because it was so hard.
It was very hard. Wasn't that the one that had a little comic strip in it?
Yep. Yeah, Bazooka Joe comic.
Yeah.
They actually, one of the commercials, in fact, was showing some guy taking a piece of it and trying to chew it and just wrenching down on it. And it says, Bazooka Bubblegum, when you're ready for the hard stuff.
We should do an episode. Del, what do you think? Should we do an episode on like weird candy stuff? I don't know. It just sounds
old candies from the past. Old candies,
old commercials. Yeah, like just different stuff to reminisce old times. I think that'd be kind of cool.
like a lot of people don't remember marathon bars. It keeps going and going and going.
I don't remember that one.
I love marathon. They still, you can get those in England. They call them twirly whirlies there. It's the same thing. It's
those look weird. They look weird.
Yeah. It's like a lattice type thing.
Yeah. Look that up, everybody. A marathon.
That was one of my favorite candy bars because I love caramel. I actually hate chocolate.
It says Walmart. Can you really get those? No, that's Cadbury. They have some called Cadbury Curlies now.
Yeah. It's still made by Cadbury, who made them before as marathon bars, but they call them twirly whirlies.
Yeah, these ones are curly whirlies, and it says marathon bar, and you can buy them at Walmart. Supposedly, I haven't seen them, but
you'd have to order them offline.
That's crazy. All right, get to 1,000 subscribers, and we'll send somebody a box of candy. How's that?
Woo, that's a deal.
So share it with everybody you know.
Whatchamacallit, or Reggie bars. That was a flop.
Whatchamacallit? I like those. I think it was those ones.
Yeah, they're talking
Chiclets were good.
That's true. Let's get back to this.
The doctors are going to tell you about the different kinds.
Yeah,
it all started with eating things. So
we like eating chocolate. He liked eating chocolate people.
The paraphilias. But the paraphilia that best exemplifies the paraphilia that Jeffrey Dahmer had, which they will claim is, in their opinion, a mental disorder, which they will state in Jeffrey Dahmer was a mental disease. Their paraphilia that they found was necrophilia. And necrophilia is a disorder of the mind where there is a desire to have sexual contact with dead bodies. That's what they're going to say Jeffrey Dahmer was. He was a lot more than that, but that's the mainstay of his condition, was his desire for dead bodies, to have sex with dead bodies. Armed with that information here now, I'm going to continue on in the.
Well, he had sex with dead bodies. I used to have sex with a woman I thought it was dead.
Oh, dang.
Chronology of Jeffrey Dahmer's life so that you may understand how that embryo of that may fit, as the doctors will testify. There came a time in 1975 or 76 that Jeffrey Dahmer's obsession with this sexual desire and fantasy and obsession got to the point where he saw a man who lived somewhere in the general area where he lived, running, jogging every day. He would see him jogging down the road. And he became so attached to the concept of having sex with this man that he went home and he sawed off a baseball bat so that he could get on his bike and ride past the man and hit him in the head with the baseball bat and knock him out, so as to take him up into the woods and have sex with him. That's what his quest was. And he put that quest into play and got on that bicycle and went out to find this man. And thanks be to God, the man had never jogged that way again. So it didn't happen. But the doctors are going to tell you what that meant in the grand scheme of things, as it is to the mind of Jeffrey Dahmer. Beginning when he was about 16 years of age, and this would be in the years of 76, 77, he started collecting animals.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. That's just bad. God, that's almost that's almost over the line.
always dead animals. And there's going to be testimony as to why that's significant.
Oh, wow.
Never killed a live animal, but would go on the roads and find roadkill, dogs, other type of animals that have been struck by cars that were laying there. And he would take them home, and he started having a fascination of wanting to see what they looked like inside. And he would open them up. One time, he took off the head of a dog and put it on a stake and hung it out so that everybody could see it, primarily for shock value. This obsession of this dead animals and doing things with them started becoming something that became more and more into his life, into his head. The way he conducted himself in high school will be made known to you. Take it for what it's worth and what it meant. Doctors are going to be asked, they're going to be testifying to how a person who starts acting like this at a certain age and is now 31 can go on day in and day out living what ostensibly appears to be the kind of things that most people would do. Goes to work, eats food, goes out for dinner, goes to the store. They're going to tell you what that means in the mind of a Jeffrey Dahmer whose life starts taking on an obsession and a fantasy that is so foreign to us that we can't even comprehend it. But for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be asked to at least listen to it and try and understand what it's all about. His home life changed a lot. There was some problems in his mother and father's marriage. There was an ultimate divorce. He was about 18 at the time. It was traumatic, and he became somewhat of a recluse. He isolated himself, spent a lot of time alone, started internalizing, as the doctors will tell you, started internalizing his feelings, and they'll explain that to you. Internalization means you keep them to yourself. Then as he became a senior in high school, he started getting these thoughts about going out and finding a hitchhiker and killing him and having sex with him. That started to become his quest, the thing that he wanted to do, the desire that was staying with him at all times. After he graduated from high school, there came a time in his life when, because of his family situation, he was alone. And one night, to the regret of the world at large, to the regret of the victim's family, Mr. Dahmer and his family, the horror scene starts. He is driving around and he sees a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker doesn't have a shirt on. And Jeffrey Dahmer wants his body. His body. That's his fantasy. The body. Not the height, not the age, not the color. The body. And he picks up this hitchhiker and he takes him back to his home. And suddenly he picks up a barbell and he renders the man unconscious. And he killed him. He strangled him. He undressed him. And the evidence is going to show that at that time, now having his fantasy a reality, he masturbated on the dead man's body.
Nope. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Adolph's Meat Tenderizer.
2 days later, having hidden the body, he opened it up. He wanted to see what it looked like on the inside. He put the body in a bag, attempted to drop it off, get rid of it, stopped by the police for a traffic violation of some sort, took the body back because he was afraid it would be discovered, obviously, and he hid it. He separated the skull from that body and masturbated in front of it. Now, make no mistake.
Talk about getting head, huh?
More than once.
Yeah. Whoopsie, what the hell's going on here?
This is a sad commentary, I'm telling you. I take absolutely no delight in telling anybody any of these things. I tell them to you because you must know these things. I grieve for the family of Mr. Hicks. Anyone who doesn't believe that, choose not to, but I do. But if I don't tell you these things, I should not be a lawyer in this courtroom, so I'm going to continue to tell you this horrific story. I also ask that if any time you're uncomfortable for any reason whatsoever, if any of you need a break while I am talking for any reason, if you raise your hand, I'm sure the judge will take care of whatever situation there is, whatever discomfort is, and then we can take a short recess and convene on. I'm not suggesting because of the description, I'm just suggesting for any reason. After Mr. Dahmer finally succeeded in his first quest, a lot of other things started happening to him. He started drinking a lot. Testimony is going to show he started crying about what he had done. Became very nervous, very high-strung. And at that time, having graduated from high school, some career decisions had to be made and followed, and they were, and he went to Ohio State University, only to fail in the first 6 months. Fail because, as the doctors will tell you, what he had done a few months before was too haunting for him to concentrate on what he was supposed to be doing. So he escaped to the military.
He couldn't resist.
And he escaped to the military and became a field medic stationed in Germany and was there for a long period of time. And there started coming.
LF, you are not kidding. He was a total psycho. I never saw it when I knew him. I never saw, he seemed normal, but you know, thing is, even wackos can hide the wackoness and look normal. You just gotta, you know, he was playing a part and acting.
He said he had a lot going on. I just figured he had a lot on his plate.
He had a lot on his mind.
A lot on his plate.
Yeah. He's trying to decide what to have for dinner.
Into his life a lot more ways of handling his fantasies, handling his desires, and handling his obsessions. And he got very heavy into pornography. He got very heavy into excessive masturbation to try and stop these urges from growing, or at least put the lid on them. And he started
Put the lid on, huh?
Drinking an awful lot. Now, room is on the pluses or minuses of pornography. That's not the issue here. What is the issue here is what effect it had on Jeffrey Dahmer, one way or the other, and that will be discussed. And he came out of the service. He went down to Florida to try to live in that environment, that geographical change. But he didn't stay there very long. He came back to Bath, Ohio. One time, I think.
Yes, I want to say Legal Fiction, glad to see you here. Welcome. I'm glad you popped in for our Dahmer Relive.
Testimony is going to show. We're going to talk about his troubles with the law. There was a drunken disorderly problem that he had in the state of Ohio at about this time. Florida was not a pleasant thing. Coming back to Bath, Ohio was not pleasant. And his first order of business about coming back to Bath, Ohio was he had to get rid of that body. He had secreted that body because he didn't know what to do with it. But when he came back,
No, BK. Gacy was just outside of Chicago. Is in one of the I think eastern suburbs.
he got rid of it. He destroyed it. You're going to learn that Jeffrey Dahmer, in the performance of these horrific homicides, was in fact making what was human beings disappear into oblivion by destroying the very materials that made up the body, except for those parts that he wished to retain for his purposes. So he got rid of the body parts. He smashed them up and got them into the woods. And then he left Bath, Ohio, and he went to West Dallas to live with his grandmother. His fantasies never changed. They were ever present, as the doctors will tell you, as we have learned in this story. But he was able to cap them off without destruction by utilizing things available to him, such as pornography, masturbation, and things of that nature. In August of '82, he was charged with and convicted of disorderly conduct because he had exposed himself in former urination at State Fair Park. He started to frequent sexually explicit bookstores for magazines, but he never approached anybody in those stores because of his personality, which was, as it will be testified to, quiet, shy, alone. It'll be shown that he had no friends, as we understand that concept. And as a result, he was very isolated.
All his friends disappeared.
The doctors will indicate during this period of time, he was very depressed and lonely. 4.5 years after he had killed Mr. Hicks. In the mid-'80s, violated the law again by shoplifting.
No, Dell is actually visiting her uncle, the one that was in the car accident last year. So she couldn't be on tonight.
Charge where he took a jacket. 1983, he got a job at the blood center. His fantasies were such that he tasted blood while in the.
Well, at least he didn't work at the sperm bank.
Performance of that job. Didn't like it, never did it again. But the fantasy, the desire, the obsession will be brought to your attention as to why he would do that. Period of time thereafter, he continued to frequent these bookstores. His fantasies stayed the same. 83 to 85, we have a period of life of attempt to control and control. He tried to change. He tried to cut down on his masturbation, got it down to a once-a-week occurrence. He started going to church with his grandmother. He started reading religious books. He tried to repress his fantasy, and he stayed away from pornography as best he could. He tried. Got a job at a chocolate factory here in town. And then something happened in 1985 that the doctors will tell you is significant. It was significant because Jeffrey Dahmer, who was trying, was sitting in a library reading a book. And as he was reading the book, according to the reports that he gives to the doctors, to which the doctors will testify, suddenly a sheet of paper in the form of a note was thrown into the book he was reading. And as he saw this young fellow walking away who had thrown the book, the sheet of paper in the book, he opened it up. And the words were, "Meet me in the bathroom. I'll give you a blowjob." We now have a critical moment in time where Jeffrey Dahmer, the man of many fantasies, is for the first time propositioned. But he doesn't fall yet. But very shortly thereafter, his control started falling apart. The reading religious books, to going to church, to trying to change your life around. The control of the fantasies as best he could. And he gave up. Started going back to the video games, video rooms, see the pornography. Started meeting people. Started having sex, real sex with people. In the desire to have his fantasies fulfilled, it wasn't that satisfying having sex with live people, but he did it. To try and control, he started going to gay bars, and he started finding that he couldn't stop following these desires. He had no relationship with anyone other than a fast one-night stand, one-action stand. And then he started thinking, if I can keep them, they can't leave me. So he started thinking.
Yep, I failed at that too, Okie and Nabel and John. Twice I failed at it. Boy, just thinking if I had succeeded, I would have never met all of you.
About drugging people. He started thinking about drugging people so that he would have control over them and that they would have to do his bidding because they couldn't resist doing his bidding. He desperately wanted to have somebody remain with him. But in order to fulfill his fantasies, having killed one fella, he tried to do a couple of things. He stayed all night in Boston's store one night till all the doors were closed, and he stole the male mannequin, brought it home with him, thinking that this might be a way out for him of his fantasies. Grandmother found the mannequin, and mannequin idea went. Didn't work. He started looking in the obituary section of the paper to find young people that might have died. And he went to various funeral homes to see the remains, and he decided that he found one. And he attempted to go to the cemetery to dig up that body, but he was unable to do it because the ground was so frozen. So he had no body. His sexual problems continued, and in '86, he was arrested for exposing himself in public. '86 starts to become a crucial year, as the doctors will tell you, because he bought a large TV and VCR and started buying very heavy porno videos. And he started going to a lot of bath clubs, and his object was looking for the best looking guy. And then he would do is he would drug that person in those bathhouses, the person he chose, with a drug called Halcyon, which he was getting prescribed to himself for his alleged inability to sleep. But he didn't use it. It was only to put others out. So in their state, he could control and fulfill the fantasies that had been in his mind all this time. He would masturbate and masturbate and masturbate when this was happening with these drugged people. He would engage in light sex with them, and then when they were out, he would do them as he saw fit, but not.
He's making it sound like masturbation is an evil thing that's going to cause you to be a serial killer. I never became a serial killer.
I probably have the longest standing record of doing it. So,
What, the masturbation or the serial killing?
Well, I can't talk about one, but masturbation.
Killing any of them. He never injured, at least by physical trauma, any of these men that he drugged up until this point in time that he met at the bathhouses. Part of the reason that his fantasy was such that it was taking on this course is because when they were awake to engage in consensual sex, he was unable to perform for the most part. It was only after they were unconscious that his performance level went to the point where he was satisfied with it. He had to have that in order to perform. Did this about 10 to 15 times, and suddenly it became pretty clear as to who was dropping the knockout pills, so he was barred from these bath clubs, no longer able to go there. So he started taking men to hotel rooms, and we have a number of times, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, where he would take consenting adults, go to a hotel, do whatever they do, and then it would be over. He didn't hurt them, didn't drug them. It just would be ended. But he would have no relationship thereafter. The world, as we know it to be, started getting singed in November of 1987 when Jeffrey Dahmer started on a killing spree. Since the murder of Mr. Hicks did not occur in the state of Wisconsin, it is a matter for the Ohio authorities. You're going to hear the name of Mr. Toomey, who was Mr. Dahmer's second victim, first victim in Milwaukee County, but an uncharged homicide for reasons that will become clear. The rest of the 15 murders that took place after that were the charged murders. He met this gentleman and he took him to the Ambassador Hotel, and it was agreed that they would have consensual sex. His intention was not to kill him. His intention was to drink and have sex. And that took place, except that Mr. Dahmer and Mr. Toomey passed out from very, very strong rum that they were drinking, 150 proof rum. When Mr. Dahmer woke up, he was laying on top of Mr. Toomey. Mr. Toomey was dead. Dead. A massive bruise was viewed by Mr. Dahmer, so he knows he killed him. But he doesn't know when or how. But he knew this man was dead, and he was now in the Ambassador Hotel with a dead body, having signed in for just the night. So he went down trying to figure out what he was going to do about this terrible problem. And he went down to one of the malls, bought a big suitcase. He went back to the Ambassador Hotel, signed up for another night, and in the stealth of the night, he put this body into this large suitcase, called a cab, and took it to his grandmother's house, where he was living. Put it down into a fruit cellar and left it there.
Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Gone.
For a period of time. And then one morning, while his grandmother was at church, he took the body out of the suitcase and he slid it open. and he masturbated. And he removed the head and retained it for a long period of time. And his sexual fantasies that he had and his conduct with that horrible thing that happened will be the subject matter of some discussions by the doctors. Dr. Berlin and Dr. Wallstrom and Dr. Becker will tell you when he woke up in the Ambassador Hotel, it was all over. Mr. Dahmer would continue to do this until it was stopped. I am to tell you that his experimentation on bodies started at that time. Started boiling and bleaching the skull. And he saved the skull for at least a week. And he would masturbate on a few occasions before he disposed of the body, which he did in the cellar of his grandmother's house by having the spillage through the sewer system, by smashing the bones and by putting them in disposal bags and putting them in garbage cans. If I had my druthers, I would love to tell this story without mentioning anybody's name. But I can't do that. So when I mention the names of the victims, I do it hopefully with a religious intonation, because they were the most unfortunate victims anyone can imagine, that they had this happen to them. I'm going to ask Mr. Lefevre to stand up here and hold up some cards to show you, as I will read down the names of these people as to when they died, so that you will understand what I'm talking about as I talk. So you come up and grab the first one. The victims, and I don't know if you can see it from there, so maybe we can stand up here. We have listed the victims of Mr. Dahmer's murders. As I said, the first one was a Mr. Stephen Hicks, who died in June 25th, 1978. The second one, uncharged for the reasons that should be clear, there's no recollection of how it happened, was Mr. Stephen Tomey, who died in November of 1987. The first charged murder is that of Mr. James Dockstader, a youngster born in 1973, died in January of 88. Mr. Guerrero was the second victim, charged victim. I'm going to say charged victim because we concentrate on those, because you're going to have to make a decision on each one of these. Which man was killed in March of 88? Mr. Anthony Sears was killed in March of 89. If you, as I'm talking, see the difference in the term of months that took place almost a year later. The next gentleman who was killed was Mr. Raymond Smith, who died in May of 1990. He was also known as Ricky Lee Beats. July of 1990, Mr. Edward Smith was killed. And then 2 months later, Mr. Ernest Miller from Chicago. I believe at this juncture, prior to this killing, these were folks from Milwaukee area, except for that Mr. Hicks. Let me indicate to you that in preparation for my opening statement, I do as much as I can to be accurate on facts. I'm sure you're not going to hold me to every single thing. If I said something happened on a Tuesday that it might not happen on a Wednesday, that's not important. The evidence will tell you what the exact facts are. I'm trying to give you an overlay. So if it's later it turns out that I was wrong on a name or a place even, that's my error. Doesn't mean that I was trying in any way to take advantage of anybody by fooling. That's just a pure error. So please give me. The next gentleman was Mr. David Thomas, who was killed in October of 1990. And then in February of 1991, and up to the end of this killing spree, what was victim number 8, we find a whole bevy of homicides happened. Mr. Slaughter dying on February of 91. Mr. Earl Lindsay dying in April of 1991. Mr. Anthony Hughes a month later, May of 1991. And then in that same month, the very, very distressing matter of Mr. Conrad and Sympathus Rome. The one that we were talked about oft times in the confines of the judge's chambers. And a month later, Mr. Matt Turner. And it was a very short time thereafter, Mr. Jeremiah Weinberger. And a very short time after that, Mr. Oliver Lacey. And a very short time after that, Mr. Joseph Bradoff. And then the Tracy Edwards incident, I believe on the 23rd, 4 days later. And thanks be to God, the end of the saga. So with that in mind, as I go through the next few days, mentioning these human beings who became sacrificial lambs to Mr. Dahmer's fantasies, I do it with as much respect as I can muster up. He killed Mr. Dockstader and he kept his body a week, and he would lie with it. He would masturbate with it. He defleshed it, kept the skull. His compulsion, the doctors will tell you, was in full swing. Sexual acts, as the doctors testify, were more erotic when the victim was dead. His fantasies were having the person comatose, and then after they died, having sex with them. He did not want them to leave. He wanted to keep them, as he did Mr. Guerrero. And then September of '88, he was arrested for a crime. All of that is going to be explained to you in detail, involving a youngster. And he was prosecuted for that, successfully prosecuted, pled guilty to that, received a sentence with the hope of treatment in a form of probation, and it never took. It never took, as the testimony will show, because Jeffrey Dahmer did not want it to take. He did not want to stop what now had become his obsession, his fantasies, and his compulsions. While waiting to go to jail, he killed another man. And during the time that he was in jail for approximately 9 months, he was unable to carry out his killing spree, but he certainly didn't have it or get it under control. He didn't want to give up these body parts that became so important to him for his purposes of his compulsion. So he went, even before he had to go to jail, and bought a barrel, a sealed barrel that he could keep so that he could retain these parts that became so important to him. He went about the business of finding out how he could preserve these things so they would not deteriorate, these things that were so important to him in his obsession. He would take things out and look at them and masturbate. He kept body parts such as the genitalia. He played with heads, painted them, colored them, the skulls of these poor creatures. And some things he was able to go to work, and he kept them at his place of employment so he could look at them while he was spending his nights in jail. He was under supervision. He just flat out rejected it. He flat out rejected, as he has told and will tell you through the statements he made to the detectives. He did it. He didn't want it. He wanted to continue. He had an experience in...
Yeah, Nabel. Hey, if John and I can do it, anybody can do it. And John will probably testify to that fact.
One day off that he had during his period of incarceration where he was victimized, where he became a victim but survived, obviously, the thing that was happening between him and another person.
I got a face for radio and a voice for newsprint.
When he got out of the institution, he took his sixth victim. Now he started taking pictures showing the carnage that he was causing these people as he was going along in this killing spree. He even attempted to keep a complete skeleton, but was unable to do that. He didn't know how to preserve it. He'd called taxidermists to see how to do things like that. And then we see Jeffrey Dahmer getting into some things that I'm sure the doctors and others will tell you of some interest, one way or the other. Interpretation of these facts are going to be done not by me, but by the doctors. He started started watching some videos, and the first one that seemed to really help him understand what he really wanted to be was something called The Return of the Jedi. Because in that he saw and he started thinking that he was or wanted to be like a character. And that is the emperor who was portrayed therein. This emperor who had total control and power over subjects. Subjects being people. He would bring the victims to his place where he was staying before he killed them and make sure that they watched the same thing. He went so far as to buy yellow-tinted contact lenses because the emperor in that movie had those kind of eyes that came out. Gave him a feeling of power. People commented that he looked good with those. His eyes looked good when he would go about the preying upon these taverns and other places where he could find his prey. He'd watch it time and time again. His method of operation was to find a person who best fit his desire for body. The person with the body that he became obsessed with was his prey. Whoever fit that description of that body, that physique, was in harm's way.
I think when I knew him and all that, I must not have had that body. Thank God. That can help.
If Mr. Dahmer could persuade that person to come back to his apartment to watch videos, to pose for pictures, and in fact the incentive was that he would pay them for doing that. These men, these victims, were not all of that same sexual orientation. It's not a material fact. The material fact is that they were solicited and they were brought back with the avowed purpose that Mr. Dahmer was going to drug them up, take them from life through dying, through death, into death, to make them come back into life, his life, by the way he would conduct himself with them after they were dead. He ate body parts, and the purpose of which, as he has expressed it and as the doctors believe it to be, so that these poor people he killed would become alive again in him. The doctors will tell you about this necrophilia, which they will say in Mr. Dahmer was a mental illness, a mental disease of him on this program, this plan of taking people from life through death into death and retaining them after death to bring them back into himself. The retention of body parts, the keeping of these many skulls. Came a time when the doctors will tell you that he started maintaining these to build a shrine. And the shrine was a shrine to himself. And that will come out in the testimony. His experimentation with these body parts and these bodies and the body parts that he retained is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling for us to understand, to hear, to think about. Boiling skulls to see whether or not that was a way of preserving them. How to dispose of these flesh that remained after his mutilation. And his conduct in reference to these body parts started to escalate. And it got so sad that he started doing surgical experimentation on these poor souls before they died, so as to keep them from dying, but not because he cared, but because he wanted them for his purposes. He wanted to create zombies, people that would be there for him. He would have all kinds of sexual contact with the dead bodies. Oral, anal, into the viscera, all kinds. He became enamored, overwhelmed, caught up by a character in a movie called Exorcist 3. The doctors will tell you that the character that he became caught up with was Satan. Because Satan was the personification of evil. And Mr. Dahmer felt that because of what he was, what he had done, what he was doing, that there was no entity to relate to other than Satan. When he brought that youngster up, the one that we've talked about, Conrad, and the police went up in the next room, in his bedroom, there lied the dead body of another one of his victims. Mr. Dahmer persuaded those police officers that what he was doing was okay in reference to that young man, and that testimony is going to be made known to you and aired in this courtroom. I think it's important now for me to start telling you some things that will bring my opening statement to some sort of conclusion. My role as an advocate is to convince you, based upon the greater weight of the credible evidence, to a reasonable certainty that this young man was mentally ill. I am his advocate. Nothing that I have said can, should, might be interpreted as my believing other than my obligation, my duty, and my desire to prove to you that he was mentally ill. We are precluded in a courtroom, all of us lawyers, from telling you what our personal opinion is. It is not appropriate to do that. I have said a lot of things about this young man that are so absolutely evil that one would have to say, are you saying that he was evil? And I'm saying to you that I accept the responsibility of proving to you that this was not an evil man. This was a sick man whose sickness rose to the level of mental illness, that he was suffering from a mental disease at the beginning of these killing sprees, during these killing sprees, which mental disease, I submit to you, will be shown by the doctor's testimony to be growing and growing and growing to the point where he became absolutely unable to conform his conduct to the requirements of the law. And in fact, to really appreciate what he was doing, the wrongfulness of his conduct. That as this killing spree continued along with this young man, as you will get to know him through the doctors, this isolated person, not the one who isn't out in the world, but isolated in his own mind, certainly isolated in his private life, who lives on his fantasies and who works out his fantasies, was a mentally diseased human being. And as a result of it, he could not have the capacity to conform to the requirements of law until, in God's providence, Tracy Edwards escaped from his grasp and the police came back and it all unfolded. My purpose is not to quarrel with Mr. McCann. My purpose is not to quarrel with anyone. My purpose is to let you decide, now that you've heard as much horror, it can't get any worse than this. There'll be more details, but the bad part is over. It's as bad as it can possibly be thought to have been. And I don't want to walk down here and sit here and say I'm making excuses for my representation of this human being, because I am not. I am a lawyer. I have bringing into this courtroom, and I know the ones that the other people are, the other sides are bringing in, and I will tell you absolutely, unqualifiedly, that in this courtroom in the next 2 weeks will be the finest, the best this country has to offer to bring not only to your attention, but whomever else is interested, as to how this horrible, horrible tragedy could have occurred because of an effect of a human mind. Everything we do is for you. Those who are interested, the very, very unfortunate victims, families who don't need my sympathy. I can't ever make it right by them, ever, no matter what. But I am sensitive to it. And I respect the state of Wisconsin for coming in and fighting these charges, because that's what they feel they should. Just as I know I have to do what I'm doing, and I make no excuses for it. When I get to talk to you again, it'll take on, I think, a different type of type of statement, because then I'll be able to argue. I can't argue now. I can only tell you what I know I have to do, and I can also tell you that I'm going to do it. I am hopefully going to call a gentleman who's had some law enforcement experience, if allowed to do so as we progress, so that you may hear some things about how law enforcement finds things in people of this kind of mindset. But I won't say anything more than that. One of the biggest problems in an opening statement, if you say you're going to prove something, you don't prove it, a jury might say, well, he told us he promised us something and he didn't come through. Well, I'll promise you this. I'll promise you that I'm bringing in 3 great professionals whose opinions are going to be disagreed with by others, but it doesn't make them wrong. You're the ones who are going to have to make that decision. We all came into this courtroom this morning because of the questions you answered during the last few days with no opinion. You 14 folks have no opinion, and you won't have an opinion until you hear everything, and I believe that. So I ask that you believe what I've told you. And if I've said things that are out of whack, if I misplaced something, the evidence you hear is the barometer of that. If I've said anything that's offended you because I'm telling you this story, I submit to you that there's no way you 14 can feel that way, because we all promised each other that this is what I was going to do and you were ready to accept it. And I appreciate that and your candor. As soon as I sit down, as far as I'm concerned, you no longer exist. My job is to get information out so that you may think about it, and then in the final analysis, we'll talk about it. And I thank you very much for your attention at this juncture. I will move it along quickly. Tracy Edwards, perhaps somebody from law enforcement, certainly a member of Milwaukee Police Department or 2. There will be 3 professionals in the form of 2 psychiatrists and 1 psychologist. And I'm not going to stay and ask any more questions than I think you want me to ask. I'm not going to keep them on and say the same thing over and over and over again. A jury individually and a jury collectively is very bright, and I know I don't have to do that. So we'll get to the heart of the problem so you can get to the meat of the question and address it in the final analysis. Thank you.
There we go.
So yeah, that was the
defense
first
lawyer
one.
has got all the warmth and cuddleness of a yeah. That was actually that happened. I accidentally put him out of order. It was the defense first, then the prosecutor. So we watched it out of order. But that lawyer had all the warmth and cuddliness of a jellyfish.
Did he say heart and meat on purpose? Did he say heart and meat?
I must have missed that.
The meat of
How you doing, Steve? The meat. Oh, meat of the question.
Huh.
No pun there. Take it into your heart and let's get to the meat of the situation.
Right at the end. That's right where he liked it. Yeah. That was yeah.
I like the if you didn't see the first episode, it was the prosecutor's opening statement. It was long. It was almost 2 hours long, but he did such an outstanding job of laying out the entire timeline and everything. He did a fantastic job. Anybody you might want to get information on who's going to be where. This guy here just kind of gave a little bit of an overview and really did not get into any substance at all. He just more or less kept on saying, he's whacked. Got to let him go for that. That's what I got out of it. But we're going to have some good ones coming up Like the crime scene investigator, I think it's going to be one of the next ones coming up. Yeah, how long is that one? Yeah, that one's actually slightly shorter than this one.
Crime
Heard of the
scene.
problem.
That should be interesting.
Yeah. The crime scene investigators that did an amazing job of everything that they did. They were so complete, so thorough. One of the best laid out ones of all the evidence and all that. That's one of the reasons why Jeffrey Dahmer also pleaded guilty and trying to go for, not guilty by reasons of mental illness or defect. Because they had him so right with all the evidence they got from it, and which is kind of hard to. It really wouldn't take much when you find heads and bodies and
Floating all over the place.
Yeah, all the stuff they took out of there.
That's crazy. Before I forget, the poll answers are coming right up. Take a look at your screen. You should see the poll answers. What is February 28th known as known for in the U.S.? Here comes the answers. Should be scrolling on your screen. There they are. National Pancake Day, 37. National Public Sleeping Day, 21%. National Chocolate Souffle Day, 21%, and National Retro Day, 21 tied. So all B, C, and D tied. Majority thought it was National Pancake Day. It's actually National Chocolate Souffle Day.
Really?
Yep. If you didn't know, now you do, and that's weird, isn't it?
Write that down on your calendars for next year.
Yep. National Souffle Day. We should get together and have whatever a souffle is.
Not a souffle fan, and I really hated making them too. They're so hard to make.
Was that kind of, I don't know, flan is kind of like
flan is like a custard, like
pudding,
a
right?
creme brulee type thing.
See, I like custard.
A souffle is a egg-based dish, and it grows up real big. And when you cut into it, it goes and just falls. It's extremely light and fluffy. You see when, like, if you ordered one, it comes out, it's huge, but you find out there's not a lot there. It's like 98% air. Yeah, you have to have the perfect humidity. Same with if you're making macaroons, you got to have that moisture just right for a macaroon to come out and have a good foot to it.
I don't even know what that is.
A macaroon, it's like a little cookie.
Okay.
You literally have to dry them out a little bit before you bake them, and then when you bake them, there's got to be quite a bit of moisture. You don't never open up the door because it loses all the moisture out of the oven, and it will cause them to be flat. And they have what's called a foot. It rises up, but there's a part on the bottom that's flat and kind of chews out a little bit, and they call that a foot.
Okay. If you didn't know, you know. I didn't know.
And that's your cooking lesson of the day.
That's your trivia.
Well, I think next week we're going to be doing, I do believe, the crime scene investigator, and then the week after that we're going to be doing, I think, one of the arresting officers.
Our number one. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Our number one chatter for the night is Wahoo, and he said puffy pancakes are kind of like mini souffles.
Yes, except the puffy pancakes are a little more durable than a souffle. A souffle, when you break into it, they like to just collapse on you. Said.
Top fans for tonight: Wahoo is number one, followed by Billy Buzz number two, and John Lindy is tying at 150 with Nabel for
How do you get these stats? I gotta figure that out.
For it's in the chat. So Pretty much anybody can see them. So if you're on a Yahoo or not Yahoo, I'm seeing Wahoo. It's throwing me off. If you're in YouTube chat on the top right side, you can see the top fans.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Chrome thing. I'm like,
yeah, if you click that, so far John Lindy. It was Nabel just a second ago. Am I saying that? I hope I'm saying that right. It was Nabel, and then John. John was actually fourth place. They're kind of tying for who's messaging the most at the moment. Mayor, you're actually number 5.
Oh, I talked too much then.
Me too. I'm number 6.
Yeah, at least you made it. That's all that counts. You can go back and watch it. Unfortunately, we don't do quite as much interaction, except in chat, with these as we would if we were doing some funny videos or stuff like that. And I think after we get done with this trial, we're going to be doing something funny. And like you said, maybe old candy commercials or something. That would be kind of fun to do.
That would be sweet, pun intended.
Daybell is also split between her and Baby Bell. You know, teases.
Oh, it's kind of hard to see it that way, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
I tried.
Oh, well. Baby Bell is sleeping. Well, at least it wasn't, 2.5 hours or whatever it was last week. This one was a lot shorter.
Yes.
But main thing is we're here. We've gone through it and had a little fun.
We're having a heck of a chat session too, so that's kind of cool.
And we talked about candy bars.
Yes, we did.
Talked about candy in general.
Talked about things you could eat. Or not supposed to.
Just like Credence and Mikey, it always seems to come around to food.
I love food.
Yes. The fat kid in me is a real fan of food. The fat kid outside of me is a real big fan of food too.
Yeah, this fat kid's trying to come out. That didn't sound right. I'm on a diet though, so we'll see. I'm on week 1 of my diet thing that I'm doing, so we'll see how it goes. So far down 10 pounds, but it's plateaued, so now here's where the real weight starts to come off. So we'll see.
You got rid of that water weight first. Now get rid of the fat weight.
Yep, I definitely did. My goal is hopefully to go from like 265 is where I was. And people say, you look good for 265. Yeah, I don't feel good. So 265, I'm hoping to get back down to 200 and maybe find myself a little Philly. We'll see.
Well, I'm supposed to be, by my height, I'm supposed to be 155 pounds, and I'm at 200. I usually bounce back and forth between 198 and 210. I really need to... especially with my heart issues, I really got to lose some weight.
People say, "Oh, women love the dad bod." 9 years now, I'm still waiting. Like, so now it's time to lose the dad bod. So,
not with the dad bod. I want to have a cut bod.
Yeah, I want to see if my 6-pack's actually there. I don't know.
My 6-pack's still there. It's just that it's protected by a big airbag.
Right. Oh shoot. What kind of stories would you like to see come out of this channel? Just out of curiosity in the chat.
So suggestions at us, and let's see what we can do. It's like, everybody does trials of current stuff that's going on. I like going back in time a little bit and doing kind of the historical type stuff that people have forgot about or never saw. This until Court TV had broadcast it on A&E Network, nobody outside of the general northern Wisconsin or northern Illinois, Wisconsin area, and that really saw the trial because it was only more or less regionally broadcast, and it's so until the Court TV did it, a lot of people never saw it, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. Plus, being that I was an acquaintance of Jeffrey Dahmer, and it's been so long since I've seen the trial, and I did spend one day at the trial, just out of curiosity. I wanted to
There-
bring it up.
Do you Sorry.
Part of my history in a sense.
Do you remember Holly that came up here from Texas? Do
Oh
you
yeah,
remember?
yeah.
When she was living with me, she did a show about murder mysteries. She only did a couple episodes, and then she fell off the map and never done anything with her channel ever again. But I think like Nabel or something like that could pick up. If somebody could pick up doing one like that, I think that would be kick butt.
Oh God, no! There's no way I'd do the OJ trial just because that lasted an entire year, and it was done to nauseum.
We could edit it way down though.
Yeah, but I don't want to do the OJ trial because the prosecution was just so bad in that trial.
Michael Jackson's murder trial. The guy who gave him all that medicine.
Oh yeah, the doctor.
Yeah, could do something like that.
Did you get abducted by aliens?
Who are the new serial killers of the day?
Ray Lewis trial. That's one I'll have to check into. That's a possibility.
We could do a segment on that. Like, oh, now it's time for your serial killers of the day. Captain Crunch from LA. All right.
Yeah, I'm a serial killer. I killed a lot of Captain Crunch and Tony the Tiger.
Oh yeah. Oh man, what, Sugar Puffs? Oh man.
No, the frosted flakes.
I love Raisin Bran, sprinkle of sugar on top. That was me.
Captain Crunch, right straight out of the box, no milk, no. World's sharpest cereal.
Honeycombs straight out of the box.
I was never a milk on cereal person. I never liked it. So I always, Fruit Loops and everything else. I'd sit there and watch Saturday morning cartoons and just eat them right out of the box.
I didn't mind that. I love eating out of the box. But has the I even eat Cheerios. I might have finished it. I have a box, I think, up here in the shelves of Cheerios, I think, still. But that's a nice midnight snack. It's not totally healthy for you, but you can eat a bunch.
They have strawberry frosted flakes now. Paul got them while I silently gagged.
Nice. Honey Smacks, yes. That's Sugar Puffs, right? Wasn't it called Sugar Puffs? The one with the frog?
Honey
Smacks. Sugar Smacks.
Yeah. I'm not sure if those were the same ones or not.
I think the Puffs was the bag version.
That could be, the multi-meal version.
Yeah. That's what I told him I heard, and he's like, sweet. Sweet. Peanut butter Captain Crunch, man. What do you think about the Reese's one? The Reese's cereal.
Can't do it.
No?
I'm totally allergic to peanuts and peanut butter.
Oh, that's okay. I'll eat it for you.
All right, you do that. You're gonna have my share.
Fair enough. I'll share my Frosted Flakes with you.
That works. I haven't had Captain Crunch in so long. I'm almost tempted to go and get some. Oh, my sister Lori loved Kix. That was her favorite cereal.
Captain Crunch, man. That was the one that would shed layers of your mouth.
Oh, yeah. The world's sharpest cereal. Loved it.
Oh, man. That is some vicious stuff. I don't remember it being that way when I was a kid. I must have chewed better back then because now it's like you load up your mouth full of it and you're.
I can imagine I'll have a lot with missing almost all my teeth in that. I probably can't even eat any of that stuff anymore.
Sherry, you have it right. Where was it? Lucky Charms. I love Lucky Charms. I like the extra marshmallow Lucky Charms. You ever had that?
My brother used to buy the extra marshmallow Lucky Charms, and then he separated it.
Yes.
The cereal there and the marshmallows there. He'd eat the cereal normal, and then he'd sit there and snack on the marshmallows all day long.
I've done that before. I love it. Marshmallows only, John says.
Yes,
the marshmallow only ones.
And those are for snacking. Those aren't for cereal.
Oh man,
who remembers years ago? Quisp had the little spaceship on it with the little Martian guy. They were shaped like little flying saucers.
Like QUISP?
QUISP.
Yeah. I don't remember those. That must have been before.
Yeah, soggy. I remember Quisp. Yeah, soggy cereal is gross. That's why I never liked milk on my cereal all my life.
You just have to eat faster.
Yeah,
I love milk on my cereal, except there's a couple of them that get soggy really fast now, and I can't remember which one it is. There's a couple of them. If you walk away because you want to get a drink of something and come back, it's soggy. That sucks.
You got grape nuts. There's nothing in this world that will ever make those soft.
Cookie Crisps, yes, Cookie Crisp are good. My kids get another one. I don't think it's Cookie Crisp. It's Cookie something. Blue box. I can't think of it offhand. It's a cookie cereal. I don't think it's a blue box.
Cookie Crisp. I don't remember any other ones like it.
Maybe I don't think
little chocolate chips in them.
It might be that.
Milk. Oh my God, that sounds like my dad. Milk to cereal ratio must be maintained. He would do that. He would keep on adding cereal until the milk was ran out right with the last cereal.
That's funny.
I used to love eating shredded wheat, and it had to be the big ones. I couldn't eat the mini shredded wheat. And then I would pour sugar in it until it all permeated all the way through it, and literally had a layer of sugar on top of it, and ate it that way with all that sugar.
My stepbrother Mike, he would put, it says Cookie Crisp here, but it's not Cookie Crisp. It's another one. It's a blue box. I don't think it's a Cookie Crisp, but he would take and fill his bowl up full of Wheaties, right? I'm talking like salad bowl, the ones you put food in and put it in the fridge kind of bowl, you know what I mean? He would take cereal, stick it in there, and then he would grab the sugar bag and just start pouring it on there. It's like, dude, you know it's all going to the bottom.
The blue one was also the blue box was Sugar Crisp, also Sugar Crisp or Cookie Crisp, also.
Yeah, I see Cookie Crisp here.
It had a whoop on the label.
Hold on a second. Hey, Taya. No, she can't hear me.
I don't know if
I'm behind all the walls.
This one?
No, not that one. I see that one. Hey, Taya.
Oh my God! I just want.
You're
not gonna believe this one when I.
What's the cereal that I get for you guys? That's Cookie. The blue.
Stop.
The blue box of the stuff that you guys like that has a cookie.
Cookies? I don't know.
You just bought it for Eric the other day. Well, not Crave, but
remember when
you hit that thing?
Oh God, yeah.
Right?
I remember. I think it might have been Kellogg's Frosted Flakes when you could get.
Oh yeah, you don't want to come in.
Sent the 3 box tops, and you got four banana splits record 4 times. And I used to have those records.
I did, but it's like Cookie Crisp, but it's not that one. It's not that.
That's it.
Is it that one?
Yeah, that's the cookies.
That's the one Eric gets?
No, Eric gets Crave.
Crave?
Crave is like it looks like
I've done that, John.
So this is the one?
Yeah, that's
okay. Sorry, I'm just
Crave
losing
is the one that looks like
yeah, it has the thing inside.
Yeah, the chocolate in the inside, and it's like, yeah, both of them are really good.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you. Okay, I'm just losing it. It's Cookie Crisp. What? What?
Poop like a champion is
Was
the
that-
name of the cereal.
Was that real?
Yes, it's real.
Real high fiber, I'm guessing.
Yep, it says poop like a champion, ultra high fiber cereal.
Holy crap. No pun intended. Maybe I need. Do they still sell that?
Which one?
The one you just showed me.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can order it.
I'm on this weight loss shot, and it really just slows things down. Let's see. Do you put banana slices in your cereal, especially Raisin Bran? Raisin Bran is a great one for that. It's funny how this show just went totally to food and cereal.
102 calories per serving.
Crave is one of them. They have two versions of Crave, and the one that my daughter gets for my son is a red one.
Poop like champion, corn pops, Bootios. Oh my god. WWE wrestling Bootios. That's not racial at all.
Oh, oh, that's great. She was on my go and lost a bunch of weight. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
White box cookie crisp.
Were you able to keep it off, or did it come back? That's the thing. I gotta make sure it stays off.
Oh, there was.
I'm actually on Wegovy right now. I'm on semaglutide Wegovy.
Oh yeah.
That's my shot that
Well,
I'm on.
there's Frankenberry, Blueberry, and Count Chocula, and another one that I never heard of. It's all in that same line. It's called Fruit Brute.
Huh. Fruit Brute. Huh. Well, that's cool.
Oh, Kellogg's Glad Together.
That's awesome, Nabel. Do what you got to do to be happy. I'm telling you, I've never been happy with my weight. I started getting a gut when I was about 16, and then like I was 175 pounds in school, and then once I turned 17, I started getting this little bit of a dinky gut, but that's why I started drinking beer a little bit here and there, and smoking cigarettes, doing all that stuff. You think you're cool.
Oh, the other cookie cereal, Chips Ahoy.
Oh, let's see, Chips Ahoy.
And there's also Oreo Puffs. Here's the Chips Ahoy.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yep.
Where am I going? There we are.
Yep, Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy.
Oreo Puffs. I think they're doing that right now, I think.
Oreo Puffs.
Okay. They have a new Oreo cereal. I don't think it's Puffs, or it might be a different box, but there is an Oreo cereal out right now.
The Aldi's brand is called Cookies with a K.
That's the one. Hold that up if you see it.
Yeah, they sell it at oops.
Because that's where I shop sometimes, especially for cereals, Aldi's. That's the one I was telling my daughter right there. That's the one. Because I tried spelling cookie with a K. Okay, yep. Thanks, man. That's the one, not Cookie Crisp. It's cookies. That's the one. That's the one that I get for my son. The cheap version, because
there's Annie's Organic. It's got Cookie Crunch Original. Choco Chips, which is like what's the chocolate puff one?
Supposedly you don't really want to eat cheese on Wegovy either. I mean, that's my buddy at work's experience and mine. So yeah, Nabel, yeah, you don't want.
Ew, John, you sicko! Mayo right out of the jar.
Yeah. I love cheese.
I can't wait for my next trip so I can hit Culver's and get some cheap deep fried cheese curds.
Those are okay.
I love them. They're good. They're not the best ones out there, but they are a good filling.
We
Yeah.
have the local fair here is really, really big. It's like the biggest in this state that I've found, and then it's really close to the biggest in like Indiana, Ohio. And they have some really good cheese curds here, but they have and they go all the way down to Hillsdale, Michigan, and there's some good ones there too.
You don't find cheese curds out here in New England. It's just,
Well, it's like
they
you
look
don't
at it strange.
you don't find elephant ears west of the Mississippi either.
No, well, here, they call it fried dough, but funnel cakes are unheard of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you can get a funnel cake in Arizona, but you can't get an elephant ear.
Huh.
And I went out there to the fair, and I was like, I asked people at the fair, I was like, where can I get an elephant ear around here? Elephant ear? What's that? That's gross. I'm like, no, it's an elephant ear. Like, come on, for real. You got never heard of it. Nobody out west knows what an elephant ear is. It's weird.
Yep. Oh yeah. It was a culture shock when I came from Wisconsin out here. The pizza's nowhere near as good as the Midwest, in my mind.
Lisa says, I love cheese. Anything cheese, you can count me in.
Pickled
I love mott sticks.
pickled bologna. I don't think I've ever heard of pickled bologna.
We have a cheese making place right in the next town west. Nice. People in Minnesota had never heard of pickled bologna before when we were there.
That's a new one on me.
Pickled bologna. Oh, I have heard of pickled bologna. We have that here in Michigan, or did have that here in Michigan. At the old grocery store growing up. What's the one? Is it pickled? The one it has like different colored stuff in it, like the block of ham that or block of bologna, and it had like little square pieces in it. So every time you cut a slice, yeah, that was good. Head cheese, Wahoo! You're the head cheese. Oh, head cheese? Is that what what?
Oh,
is head cheese the one that has all the stuff in it?
Yeah, that's one that's got full of stuff. But the one with the little white square cubes in it, that's mortadella. Yep, here it is. Butcher's.
Oh no, bologna. That head cheese looks fucking disgusting.
Oh, totally.
Pardon my language. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. Oh, that's different. Never mind. You guys are talking about head cheese. I'm talking about bologna. My bad.
Bologna, you know the Big Mama the Big Mama sausages? It looks like it's on the same lines as that. Meat pieces in gelatin.
Pickled bologna. Okay, here we go. Pickled bologna slices. That's what I need to type in. I must be getting tired because I'm mixing stuff up here.
What have any thoughts on Israel and USA bombing Iran?
Go Tigers. Did I insert that at the right time? Did I?
I do. Now, somebody had said before that that they did that, and they should let the politicians take care of that. Well, they did since the late 70s with the Ayatollah Khomeini. They tried to let the politicians take care of it instead of getting in a war. But after 50 years of it, I think enough is enough.
Mortadella. Okay, now I get it. Okay, that does look really similar to what I was talking about. All right. Did you hear they took out the big guy over there?
Yep.
Yeah,
I took him out this afternoon.
If you noticed, everything Trump does, probably shouldn't say that name. Everything the president does happens on a Saturday. Did you notice that?
He's getting predictable.
Do you know why?
Why?
He's a businessman, and if he does it during the week, the stock market goes down.
Oh,
if he does it on a Saturday, the stock market doesn't move, and then on Monday it goes up.
Huh? I never thought of that.
Yeah. So at the opening of the stock market on Monday, this isn't advice, but I'll just say the opening of the stock market on Monday is going to be great.
Good. That will help my 401k out.
Great show tonight and interaction. Yes, I've been trying to get some names in there. Billy Bob. Billy Buzz.
My old man don't complain. And he shoved them charts where the sun don't shine. Iranians are in the street cheering. Yeah, kind of like what happened in Venezuela.
Yeah. The goal is peace. I'm telling you, like the goal is peace. I just watched a video on Vietnam on Netflix. It's a 5-part thing about Vietnam War, and it opened my eyes to so much of that my uncle would talk about from being in the war, and about protesters and the different. It just opened my eyes a whole bunch. Like this stuff, you've had a strong two sides forever.
There was Reagan coined the term "peace through strength." I think it was Reagan.
Yes, Kennedy. Was it Reagan?
Kennedy. Let's find out here.
I can look it up real quick. I can type it in.
Okay, yeah, you probably can type in faster than I can do with my phone.
Yeah, peace through strength. Here it is. Is a foreign policy doctrine heavily compiled by Ronald Reagan.
Right, that's what I thought. I thought that was Ronald Reagan.
And central to Donald Trump's 2026 administration, actually, too. That is what it says here. Huh. It prioritizes deterrence. Probably deterrence. It prioritizes deterrence over appeasement. And his goal is to get the heck out of there. He said that we've been over there long enough.
Yep, just go in, take care of business, and get out. Then send in advisors to help them rebuild.
The napalm girl, that has always fascinated me. And I always thought she was not alive anymore, but she actually is a Canadian citizen. Yep. And she goes around doing speeches at places.
I don't know if you remember the Tiananmen Square protests, and the girl that organized that in China actually lives here in Boston. Actually, she's got several houses around the country. And she's a friend of my pastor in church. And they've done interviews together, and they've gone out to eat together. She lives in I think it's Belichick's old mansion. It was either Belichick's or it was what's his name? Quarterback. Tom Brady's mansion. Oh, her apartment in Boston, in fact, is this $12 million apartment that used to be Tom Brady's, in fact.
Legal Fiction says, oh yeah, Tank Man was a hero.
Yep. Out there, white shirt, black pants, holding a briefcase, wearing a tie, and just standing right in front of those tanks and making the tanks go around them.
Really? Was that in Vietnam?
What's that? That was in China.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I know about that one.
Let's see if I can find that.
I really need to get off my butt and start doing a live show.
Yeah, Tank Man, as they call him. It was the nickname given to an unknown protester or unknown rebel.
Tank Man, no, that was Tiananmen Square in China in the 80s.
Yep, 89.
Thanks, Nabel, for showing up. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful night. You and your family, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Stacy,
I suppose we might call it quits here. I know KCC's still on, I do believe.
My uncle was into Vietnam also. I believe that's where Agent Orange happened.
Yep.
And he's been suffering with that forever now. And he's not doing so well at the moment. So, yeah,
one of my friends from back in Milwaukee, in fact, was in Vietnam, and he didn't have a very good outlook of it. In fact, all his ribbons and awards and all that he's got is just thrown in a box in his closet. And when he was moving from one place to another, and I pull him out there, he says, "You can throw those in the trash for all I care." And boy, he did not like Jane Fonda. He goes, because of Jane Fonda, a lot of Americans died.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I heard something about her not being a good person, but I didn't read into it.
He was more or less colluding with the North Vietnamese.
Mm.
Yeah, it's whenever I see somebody that's wearing a Vietnam veterans hat, I always thank them for the service and welcome them home.
Nabel, I'm with you 100%. Our veterans should be,
Absolutely.
our government craps on veterans. They get these shots, especially back in the day. They get these shots of unknown stuff because they wanted to try stuff. And they serve in the military, they lose their minds, and they come back and they're not the same. They've been programmed to obey, and then they get home and they don't have anybody to control them, and they go crazy. And
especially people that have seen combat and
yes,
the stuff they see that nobody should ever see.
yep. And
I have quite a few friends like that especially over in the Middle East war, spent time in the Middle East and all that, and in Iraq and Afghanistan and things they saw.
Yeah, and it's so sad. It really is.
Back in 2019, when those bikers got killed here in New Hampshire, the ones that I organized that ride for, it was seven members of the Jarheads Motorcycle Club, which were all combat Marines, and 3 other people were injured, and 2 supporters were killed. One of the guys from that group and that was a combat medic, and he saw a lot of stuff overseas there, but he said that scene that he saw after those people got hit by that truck and all that, he said it was far worse than anything he saw in the Middle East, and he saw some of the absolute worst stuff you could ever imagine over there.
Yeah,
he had some major flashbacks from that.
And then when they need help, they can't get it, and the military leaves them homeless. And
yep.
But they'll send billions of dollars overseas to teach kids how to dance or something. They'll allow billions to go everywhere, but they can't take $10 to help get them a meal or something. It's like these people are the reasons why you're still in power.
Yep, and the reason we have our freedoms that we do.
Yeah,
our VA hospital here in Manchester and up in Concord, I have to say, is amazing. The help that they give the veterans is just far and wide. Should be a model for all the other VA hospitals around here. They are fantastic. I do a lot of work, a lot of charity work for veterans organizations, Patriot Guard riders, when they have the honor flight for the Vietnam, Korea, and World War II veterans going down to Washington to see their memorials and all that. I'm always in the with the escort on that, taking them to the airport and that. And here's the buses full of the veterans of that, being led by 200 motorcycles, and then we all go in there and just two big honor walls all the way to the TSA thing with bands playing and everybody clapping, and we need to see more of that. And unfortunately, a lot of the younger people don't realize the importance of that and those veterans. I'm a veteran, but I never saw. The only action I ever saw was bar fights. My entire career was in Texas, but I've got so many combat veteran friends of mine, and the things that they've seen and the stories that they tell me is like, how can you not be there supportive and do anything you can to help them? My homeless outreach. There were so many veterans that lived on our street, on our city streets here. We got about 2,000 homeless people, and 10% of them are veterans that are still waiting for their benefits to kick in.
You know, while the people that could approve all this are enjoying their life.
Yep.
You know, that's sad.
The people that are standing there, oh, the military this and military that. Yeah, but your freedom of speech that you have to say these things is protected and guaranteed to you because of those people.
Yep. 100%. All right, man. We're 2 hours, 16 minutes. Time to say goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, all our weirdos. Thank you, Wolfman.
You're welcome.
Next week, hopefully, we'll be at our normal time. Depends if I got to work. If I got to work, we'll have it at 8 o'clock. If I don't have to work, it'll be at 7 o'clock. So keep an eye on it all. Again, not getting political, but the greatest country on the planet still has homelessness as a problem. That is so true. There's no reason for that. Too much money goes overseas instead of where we need it.
I should go live on my rant channel and just go political.
Yep.
That's what it's there for.
Right. Everybody, thank you for coming. The 8 of us that are still here, we love you. We'll see you next week. Any parting words, Wolfman?
I don't know. Try to stay healthy, and I really don't know. I didn't think about that.
I threw you under the bus.
You did. I don't know. Share the show with everybody you know, and let's keep it weird.
Hit that like, share it out. Hog tie somebody. Make them watch it.
And subscribe to Nabel, because I have a feeling good things are going to come.
So, yep, definitely. Subscribe to Nabel.
Put a little pressure on her.
And all those others. So, everybody, keep it weird, and we will see you next week.
Peace.